Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Good morning.
And I'm Stephen Bonacore. How are you?
He's still waking up.
I'm waking up.
I've been awake. I'm ready to go. Folks, we have a contest. Hooray! It is a contest to win a copy of a game called Lost to Time. That's also the name of Bonacore's biography coming up.
What?
I don't know. I had to make some sort of joke about it.
Didn't work.
Not a bad title for your book, Bonacore. It's all right.
It was an age joke of some type. I know it. I feel it in my bones, my creaking bones.
That's how you.
Well, Lost to Time is actually it's on Kickstarter right now. You can see a link to it in the description below. It is a game, a real-time game with an app, Mayan theme with a soundtrack, some really cool-looking dice. And in fact, dice is the focal point of this contest. We have one copy to give away for people who live in North America or Europe. And all you have to do to enter this contest is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word Mayan, M-A-Y-A-N, and answer the question, what are the 3 different types of dice called in this game?
Ooh, there's some really nice looking dice in this game.
They are nice.
Oh,
I like these dice a lot. We will collect entries until midnight on the 7th of October. We're in October.
Can you imagine?
I can. So go check that out. You can find more about it by clicking the link in the description. All right. Well, speaking of that, like I said, we're in the final quarter of the year, October. This is the month that Essen has happened in the past. They're happening virtually this year. We'll be playing live playthroughs at the same time that the fair would normally go off. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be posting a schedule of the games we'll be playing in, I don't know, about 10 days or so. Bonacore's looking very rested. Every time I see him, you look more relaxed.
I don't I look better and better? Thank you, Tom, for that compliment. I appreciate that.
I will compliment you 1 out of every 5 times just to keep your spirits from being too flagged down.
What? Yes, no, retirement is doing me well. Thank you very much. Even with these early mornings and me having to be like,
it's so early at 10 o'clock here.
Well, to be like ready.
It's early.
It's early for retired people.
I did say I was driving to work today. It was just around 7, and I said, "Man, it's dark. It's dark still at 7." But they're going to change the clocks back. Maybe this would be the year they get rid of that.
Yeah,
it would be useful, right? If they bundle it into the whole virus, update.
Like, it's because of coronavirus we had to cancel the time change.
Forget it. Just stick with it.
I don't mind time changes. People go crazy, but I don't care. Doesn't matter.
I don't think you need to go crazy over them. I just don't see what the point of them is.
It's to save daylight. It's exactly what the word.
That's a century outdated. Oh, that does make sense from your point of view, but that was a better age joke, right? Okay,
that's a great age joke there.
Well, we got some news for you folks that we'll get to right after our contributors.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, well, today we're talking about QE, that stands for quantitative easing, which has to do with printing money, more or less. And that's what you do in this game. You are writing blank checks over and over again, trying to buy these various companies from these various countries. And what you're doing is you get to write any number you want. You can write this check for $8 or $300 or $1 trillion. There's literally no number that you can't write as long as it's a whole number. And basically, what you're trying to do is get as many of those companies as possible while still spending the least amount of money. So it's this really fun, tricky balance that you have to do. And this game can get really silly and really fun.
So what you really do in this game is just write 37 in a bunch of different variations and then see how much it can annoy the people you're playing with.
Every bid, $37. $137.
$10,037.
$37,000.
It was really fun, but because
and I think you won.
No. I think
you beat me.
Yeah, well, yeah, but anyway. But the reason why I say that is I feel like this game kind of brings out people's personalities in a way that some party games don't, because this is not a party game. So it brings out of people like a different side of themselves, like just writing 37 all the time because it's officially your thing now. So I just really enjoyed that when I was playing this game.
I like that this is a game about the economy without being an economic game. It was a bidding game, but it was like a silly bidding game. But at the same time, there was still strategy, and what you were trying to do is think about what you thought everybody else was bidding, and there's more to it than just simple bidding and economy. Some unique stuff I hadn't seen before, and we really enjoyed it.
Well, if you'd like to hear more from us, you can always find us on Facebook or YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Everybody, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Guys.
Shut up! I got no time to play a game. Why is it so bright in here? Where's everybody? He's too busy. Shut. When you're too busy, you can play smaller games. Like this one over here. Panzer Strike, France, 1944. It's a pocket game. Let me show you. This is a father and son team from Serbia. I got in touch with them, and they sent me this game. It's Predrag and Dragan Lazovic from a company called Forsage Games, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a little tank game that you can play anywhere. The board game is modular. There's little tanks, and there's even you're going to learn line of sight. You're going to learn the combat results table, and it's just a small footprint. Easy game to learn. You got time. These are the rules. Look, I'm going to teach you the CRT table, combat results table, in seconds. So if you look on the complete left-hand side, which tank you have? You have the Tiger. Well, his speed is, N means speed, the number you're going to roll, how many dice, -2. So if you roll 6, you move 4. That's it. And you're going to see, going right, armor, front, side, and rear. Well, if you get hit by the front, it's 10 defense, side 8, rear 8, and you have 4 firepower. That means you can roll 4 dice, and if they get your tank, it's worth 3. Wow, that seems easy enough. I could play this game while making my prosciutto. I like prosciutto. Yeah, you look like a prosciutto. It makes me think of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill on PS3. But he's prosciutto head. Another easy-peasy, fast-playing game. If you have 3 players, you can play this game. It's called La Résistance. And what is La Résistance? Well, it's a band of partisans in Nazi-occupied France, and you gotta win 12 glory points to win. How do you win 12 glory points? Well, you gotta beat the Bosch. Who are the Bosch? The Nazis! Grandma! What did you do in Paris? What games did you play when you were young? How do you win the 12 glory points? Well, you gotta beat the Germans. How do you beat the Germans? Well, on the left side of the card, there's dice. You gotta up those dice. You gotta beat those dice, and you get what's on the right-hand side of the card. That's it. Easy peasy. And you know what? Because of Simon Seguin, that's why I love playing war games. Because of heroes like that. See you next week.
What's up everyone, my name is Melissa McCack and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I want to talk about Abzu. So Abzu is this, I guess sort of like an adventure game, but not really. You're kind of just like going through and you're discovering it's an underwater world and it's super peaceful. That's really what it's about. The aesthetics are beautiful. It is just a chill time. So I want to connect that to Fluttering Souls. And here's why. So Fluttering Souls is a card drafting 2-player game, and the card drafting mechanism is a lot like Seven Wonders Duel in a way. But you're collecting butterflies. It's a set collection game of butterflies. And again, it's just like this peaceful game. It's really, I'm comparing these games because of the feel it gives to me. So yeah, it's this peaceful game where, you're kind of just sitting back, chilling, and, just playing with one other person. And the artwork, again, like, it's aesthetically pleasing, it's beautiful. Just like in Abzu, where both games are really nice to look at, I find. And yeah, it's just to sort of like unwind and collect butterflies and whatnot. So I really like this game. I like both games. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you could check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I'll catch you next time.
All right, so let's take a look at the news. So we'll start with Barnes & Nobles. Barnes & Nobles is turning into one of the biggest game stores in the country. I don't know if you all have been in a Barnes & Nobles lately, but their game sections are huge in every one I've been in. And they now have exclusive Games Workshop products. Space Marine Adventures Rise of the Orcs and Warhammer Age of Sigmar Crypt Hunters.
So the first thing I noticed about this is these are like entry level Warhammer Games Workshop stuff, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I
right?
think they have both of these. The miniatures, you still have to put them together, but they're kind of like those snap miniatures. Yeah. They're like 6 pieces each instead of 80 or whatever. Not 80. I know.
Yeah. But I love this concept of doing like entry level stuff. Because that obviously brings in new gamers and good for Games Workshop to cross them over to their really heavy stuff. But the more interesting thing about this article is that Barnes & Noble getting some exclusive products. Now, they haven't done that as much as like Target has. And the weird thing about Barnes & Noble is they have a really bad return policy. Like if they buy stuff from you, they have rights to return it. That's really bad for publishers. So at the, we stopped doing a lot of things with Barnes & Noble because of that. But I have a feeling that in an exclusive arrangement, Games Workshop does not have to deal with that kind of policy. My guess.
Interesting.
All right. Igari, I don't know how you pronounce this. Igiri? Does anyone know? It's Igari? No, I don't know.
Something like that. I have no idea. I never heard of this company, so I don't know.
Well, I had heard from them because they emailed me.
Iggiati. If it's Italian, and it is, right? This is Italian? Iggiati.
Well, once again, we're bringing back some really old games, but 2 of these games, at least, I'm super excited about. I don't know much about Templari.
That
was originally Don. Knock it off. All right. Intrigue. Intrigue is one of the meanest games ever designed.
This is true.
It is people diplomacy in like 35 minutes, right? It's like
but you could play diplomacy without someone double crossing you. You will be double crossed in Intrigue.
Yes.
And it's like just straight to your face. Give me some money. I promise I'll give your nephew a job. I give you the money. You're like, your nephew's he ain't getting a job.
I kill your nephew instead.
So
that is correct, yeah.
But it's a really good game. I've never played Templari, though I know it. Intrigue is a great game for backstabbing your friends.
Templari, it says here, Templari is a reprint of Dawn, which was the original, and then that got reprinted as Serengeti, which I have a copy of somewhere.
Oh, did you like it?
So I know the game. I just did not realize I hadn't read the rest of this. I do like it. It's a bidding game. It's a set collection bidding game in which you'll bid for cards. It's very abstracted. When you win that card, let's say the card has in mine is African artifact. So you buy the thing and it has a big number on it. That number now I have a big 8 on. That means I can never bid 8 or 18 or 28 anymore ever for the rest of the game. And so the more stuff you win, the worse your bidding choices get. So if you bid 3, but I have the 4, the 5, and the 6, I have to jump up to 7 if I want to bid.
Oh, I like that. That's actually pretty cool.
So, it's very interesting. It's a tiny little design, but very clever.
Well, the one I'm most excited about, of course, is Vabank.
Yep.
I've been pushing for this for a long time to get reprinted, and it's just a simple bluffing game. Love it. I know that Vabank is going on Kickstarter. The other 2 are not. And it's being launched in October. So I'll be there day one on that Kickstarter. Looking forward to it.
This is a good group of reprints, I think.
They're like 3. These are
Yeah.
pretty impressive that they got the rights. At least to intrigue, I figured that one would be. It's weird. We're in this nostalgia era because the next game we're talking about is Dragonland.
Yeah.
Coming from Game One Games, from Reiner Knizia. This is one of the first of the Euro games that I played back in the day. I almost want to call it a kids game. It's not quite kids, but it's pretty close.
I have not played this. It looks really pretty. Obviously this is nice, pretty upgraded art. Everything I've heard of it, I don't know that this one needed to be brought back, but if it's a nice kids game, entry level kind of thing, power to them to bring this one back.
We just got to give props to Reiner Knizia. He gets his stuff reprinted. I don't know how he does it, but if he has a game, someone's gonna reprint it.
Well, I think the last time I checked, he had 300 games, and I haven't looked at it in 4, 5, 6 years. So he's going to get games reprinted, period. And he's got a name. So people are going to – and he's aggressive about pitching his games, his older games. He has an agent, an assistant that goes and makes sure that that person is pitching games a lot at all the fairs.
Oh, yes.
You know that.
I do.
Yeah.
I run through this. It's very interesting.
Yes.
All right. Board and Dice has decided that their last 2 Dark Escape games were not dark enough. So now we have Children of the Wormwoods. Actually, that's a pretty cool cover.
It's a great cover. Yeah.
Very, very good cover.
Escape Tales are very good escape room games, but please do not play them if you're looking for lighthearted fun. The stories are dark. And I love how the first
one of these finally.
The first one they told me was, I played the first one, and when it was done, I was like, come on now. They said, look, play the second one. It's not as dark. I played the first third, and I was like, that's what you consider not as dark? It's so interesting. But they're really good games. I mean, Board and Dice is just a solid company at this point in time. Yeah. So looking forward to this one. I guess it's coming out this month. So
just played one of the exit games, the Cosmo games, last week with Paula. I do love these kind of things. They're hard. They're really hard. We did not do as well as we should have.
Cards Against Humanity. Well, okay, don't get too worried. We're not talking about that. But Cards Against Humanity a couple months ago, maybe it was, I don't know, they were bragging about this new game cafe they were starting in Chicago. They made a really big deal. I guess it was a year ago. They made a really big deal how it was going to be different and interesting. Well, they're selling it. And they're selling it to Snakes and Lattes. What's fascinating to me, this is opening up October 14th, reopening, I guess, is that this is Snakes and Latte's 7th location.
Wow.
I thought they had 3 in Toronto, and they had opened 1 in Arizona. Where are the other 2?
I have no idea. I did not realize they had that many. I was aware of 2 locations.
Yeah, I don't know, but publicly traded companies. I actually forgot. Amphil Technologies. You can actually own part of Snakes and Lattes by buying Amphil Technologies, which has got other businesses as well. I found this to be very odd that that Cards Against Humanity would bail so quickly, but it's probably related to COVID on some level because they were closed so long. But they have so much cash that I don't know. This is not a. I wouldn't have thought this would have been a problem to keep open.
I've never been to their cafe version. I've been to several cafes, and I've been to a lot of good ones all over the place. But I've never been to one as good as Snakes and Lattes.
Yeah,
they are the cream of the crop. I think you went to one year, right, to Snakes and Lattes?
I actually have not been, but I've seen and heard everything about how wonderful they are versus other ones that are good, maybe. But they are like, this is what you must strive to achieve if you want to be a serious board game cafe.
Right.
All right, Come On is publishing graphic novels based on Fantasy Flight Games IPs. So this is a new thing now. We're seeing a lot of comics and things based on board games. They're basing them on
the Twilight Imperium and Android universes.
Twilight Imperium, I like a lot, but I'm actually more interested in the Android universe because that's a cool noir / techno-punk type thing. I'm kind of cool with that. I don't know.
This story and the next two, we're going to hint a little bit, are all kind of related in some way. The fact that Simon, to me, they're getting into a new, they didn't say it was new, but they're increasing the amount of physical paper novels, graphic novels that they're doing is really cool. The odd thing about this is that they're going and taking, under license, of course, Fantasy Flight Games IPs and doing that. Why isn't Fantasy Flight doing that? Because they have an arm called Aconite Press. I believe that's what the name is called. And they're doing graphic novels and books under that imprint, Aconite Press. So this, to me, that was the oddest thing about that. But kudos to Simon for continuing into yet another portion of geek culture. I like this idea a lot.
Well, I know Simon, come on, recently had a Kickstarter for graphic novels based on some of their own IPs.
Rising
Yes,
Sun,
So
I
it's
believe,
possible
right?
Yes.
that they simply approached FFG with the logistics in place and said, we've already got all the logistics in place of how to go from concept all the way to production on graphic novels. I know FFG does novels and novellas, but I don't know if they do comics, right? I mean, graphic novels. So That could have been it. You get this much, we get your IP, we know how to make it, we know how to get to completion. It's an easy, handoff, and then they both, of course, reap some rewards. So I'm assuming that's what it was.
I'm assuming that's exactly what it was. But my point is that FFG giving up probably their two biggest, internal IPs to this was the most interesting thing.
Okay. Well, speaking of intellectual properties, come on, also announced The Last of Us, the board game. Now, this is a very popular video game series. I have to be honest, I don't know a lot about it. Have either of you played it?
I have not played it. I know about it, but I haven't played it.
I have not.
Well, what is it? Is it zombies?
It's kind of, yeah. It's basically it's a survival horror game in which people are infected by some sort of fungus that attacks their brains, and they become, for lack of a better term, zombies. Yes.
Yes. I don't think they use the word zombies, but Ignacy told me that his kids know all about this and play this. It's a very big series. Then again, I have not played it. Ever even heard of it until this. The cool takeaway on this one is that this is Simon going out to Sony Interactive Entertainment, right? So I don't know, $100 billion company, huge company, to grab one of their IPs and bring it in house to do this. I thought this was, and it looks like the game isn't even developed yet. So they just struck a deal. They said they want to do this. It certainly is in Simon's wheelhouse to make a game like this. So I think this is going to be a good one for them. Excited to see what they come up with on this.
Yeah, they've worked together previously. They did Bloodborne.
Yep.
They did a card game and a board game, I think, actually. And then they did the God of War.
The board game's not out yet. It was Kickstarted. Yeah. It's not out. But
there's that working relationship is there already. So I'm just waiting for Crash Bandicoot, the board game. Let's go.
And this plays, I think, into the next one as well. So these hobby game companies going out and grabbing more mass market IPs, I think, is great for
this next
the
one, though, I found very surprising. Okay, so Renegade Game Studios has expanded their partnership with Hasbro, and basically, Renegade they did a board game Kickstarter for Power Rangers.
Yep.
And now they have G.I. Joe, Transformers, and My Little Ponies. Now, what's weird about this to me is, so in the other one that you mentioned, they went to Sony. Sony doesn't make board games. Hasbro does make board games.
Right.
So Renegade is getting the properties to make these. Hasbro actually made the Transformers collectible card game. That already exists. So it's not like they haven't touched this stuff before.
That's a very good point that I didn't even think of, that, of course, Hasbro makes board games. But, of course, the games that Hasbro makes are to put it mildly, very mass market.
Well, not always though. They have Avalon Hill and Wizards of the Coast. Those aren't mass market.
Sure, but would My Little Pony fit under an Avalon Hill brand? No.
Oh, I could dream. Access now. My Little Pony.
My Little Pony, Cosmic Encounter.
Sits next to Axis and Allies, My Little Pony. So no, I think this is a great thing for Renegade to cross into a mass market IP. But of course, I'm assuming they're going to put a nice hobby game spin on all of these games, in all of these universes.
Well, this is what so they say here, for example, that there's a deck building game coming out, a Power Rangers deck building game. I don't know what it's going to be like, and a role playing game. And someone told me that they saw on Twitter that maybe these other games, the G.I. Joe and stuff, will be based on the Power Rangers board game. And it's possible that this deck building game will then have these different themes, similar to the way that Cryptozoic has the same. They have that
DC,
deck building
Cerberus thing,
the Cerberus thing. If that's the case, I'm not as opposed to that as I once was. You know,
really, you hate the DC deck building game? You hypocritical beast!
No. But what I'm saying is, I don't mind the retheming. I can laugh at it, but if it brings more people into the hobby, then why not?
That's exactly the thing.
Disagree. Little Pony game, I want it to be distinct and unique and collectible. I want ultimate cover.
Now, I do wonder if they're going to kickstart all this stuff, because they did kickstart Power Rangers. Now, they said they released 11 expansions. I might argue that some of these expansions are simply just another figure. But I'm curious about how this. I'm personally pumped about G.I. Joe. It's one of my favorite intellectual properties. So we'll see.
When's someone going to make a board game about gargoyles? Let's go.
Kudos to Renegade for reaching across to grab these IPs. I think this is a great idea for them. Good luck.
All right. Well, now let's jump from good news to bad news. The Nuremberg. You put this piece in the.
No, it's not bad news.
How's it good news?
Well,
here we go. Get ready for spin, folks. Go ahead.
All right. Nuremberg Fair has been postponed. This takes place in January 2021. It's essentially the trade fair, a counterpart to the Spiel. The Spiel in Essen is available to anyone. Anyone can go to that. Nuremberg, only publishers and media can go to that. It's very similar to the New York Toy Fair.
It's exactly like the New York Toy Fair for the German market. We call it Nuremberg the way we call the Spiel Essen. We call this Nuremberg, but it's actually Spielwarenmesse.
Actually, this is the first I've ever known that.
I've always called it really? No.
I've called it Nuremberg my whole life.
Eric Martin loves to say this word, and it's really hard to say. Everyone calls it Nuremberg. Even the Germans call it Nuremberg, I believe. But it's another one of the COVID issues here. But they haven't canceled it, which is kind of cool. They just figured that January, which is when it normally occurs, was probably too soon. So let's move it to the summer.
Sure. I'm not surprised by the news. I just was surprised that you were saying it was good.
Not good news.
Well, now they have more time to prepare.
Okay. All right. Just one of the biggest party games to come out in the last 5 years has an expansion coming out with 500 more cards, and also you can go up to 9 players. I don't know what else to say.
I have a very important thing to say about this. This game is only coming out in German. Huh? It's like you said, it's one of the biggest party games to come out. It's one of the best party games to come out in my lifetime. I play this game every day and twice on Sunday kind of thing. And it's only coming out in German.
Learn German.
This might
Messe.
Spiel. I can't even say it because I'm not looking at the word.
I'm not going to let you guys make a mockery of another language. All right, let's jump to the next one.
We're not making another language. We don't know.
Here, I'll make it. It's going to come out in English at some point. It's going to happen.
I'm going to translate all the cards using Google Translate.
I'm going to give people a sheet of paper, and it'll all be numbered, and you look it up. And
that's right. No, I mean this to me is very exciting. Except I'm just surprised that the announcement specifically was German only. That's just very odd to me for a very popular game.
For now.
Very excited about this game when it comes out in English.
I'm more excited about the next one, Concept, because I like the fact that there's 110 new cards, which is 990 new things, since there's 9 things on each card. And I like that. I love playing Concept. I don't believe, it doesn't say anything else is in this game other than 110 new cards.
Well, this one's coming out in German, but also in French.
Oh, if it's in French, then I'm all over this.
I'm looking at the French. I might be like, I think that says kitchen sink. German.
Concepts is a
side note.
fantastic.
I just watched Netflix versus Blockbuster, a documentary, and the Netflix guy said it in one of their meetings. They've thrown everything at us but the kitchen sink, and the Blockbuster guy bought a kitchen sink and sent it to him when he heard that.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I need to watch it.
So that's where you went with this? Anyway.
Okay.
Concept is an amazing game. I'm very excited about these new cards.
All right. Lewis and Clark, the Expedition, has a new print and play upgrade kit with new cards, time tokens, and updated rules. I don't
Is this print and play? This is print and play.
How can play be an upgrade?
Oh, I read this news a couple days ago, and I did not realize it was a print and play, because I know they have a new edition coming out with rules changes, but I did not realize that the bridge they were building to people who supported the game before was not an upgrade kit, a print and play. Link. Oh, okay. Wow. Bubble burst.
People have asked for a published version of the upgrade kit. And after surveying 1,000 people, Ludonaut has decided to release one by the end of the year. So we'll see one.
Bubble building again.
I've never played Lewis and Clark, but it sounds interesting.
We're building. We're knocking you down, Z, so we can build you up over the course of this show.
I like that.
Build me up.
All right. Well, talking about games that I did not expect to see an expansion for, we have Australia. Revenge of the Old Ones.
I must recuse myself from comment on this because of my former affiliation.
Quiet for a moment. Let's talk trash about this, Tom.
All right, yeah, this looks like the worst possible
game
stuff
that has come out in the last, let's call it, 20 years.
Actually, you liked Australia, if I remember. I still have not played the game. This actually changes the game from being a sort of, it's not co-op. It's, you're going after each other, but now it's a one versus all. Now I want to play it because I want to be the old one player.
Australia's a brilliant, is one of those. If you love Martin Wallace,
publisher speak. No.
If you love Martin Wallace, you will love this game. That's it. It's so Wallace.
Wait. Did you just bring on a copy of that game? But it's also in shrink. You haven't even opened a copy yourself.
Really? You don't think I've opened a copy? This one happens to be in shrink. Anyway. So the Revenge of the Old Ones gives you the ability to play the old ones as a player, which is really cool. And that's a fifth player too. So it's really cool.
No, I think the game's great. I'm excited to check this out. I think the theme of like having the bad guy AI turned into a player, I've seen done a lot with varying degrees of success, honestly. But whatever. I like Australia a lot. I'll check this out.
This will be my jumping on point. So,
cool.
Also, there's an expansion coming for Good Cop, Bad Cop. This was kickstarted. If you've been wondering if these guys work out, the answer is yes. All the cops are still working out on this show.
As in lifting weights? As in
look at that guy.
Ripped arms?
Well,
that guy has muscles on his muscles.
I wish I had arms like that.
Getting like they're on an official presentation, getting medals, and the guy has no sleeves.
You're right.
Nice, bro.
Everyone else is dressed up, and he's like, "No, I'm sun's out, guns out, man."
Here's the gun show. Smith and Wesson.
What's next?
All right, Lookout Games has announced their first Kickstarter campaign, which is interesting because I thought Lookout Games was owned by Asmodee.
Yes, this is when I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, aren't they an Asmodee company?
Maybe they brought this expansion to Asmodee, and Asmodee was like, nope. And they're like, what if we kickstart it? Anyway, an expansion for Grand Austria Hotel. That's exciting. That's a game a lot of people like. modules and things.
I've never played Grand Austria Hotel. I hear really great things about it. I'm more interested in the fact that I thought that they were wholly owned at this point by Asmodee, but maybe there's like a portion of them that's not, and therefore they can do this. That's my only guess at how this can happen.
Why are you guys assuming that Asmodee isn't doing this?
No way is Asmodee putting up this as a Kickstarter, unless they're hiding it. And that's interesting. I mean, I don't know.
All right. Funko Games has obviously gotten the rights to the Groundhog Day movie, but not to Bill Murray.
Look at this!
I love this. I absolutely love this.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I really like Groundhog Day. I just think it's funny that they deliberately, Bill Murray is not in this game. It's just his hands.
I don't think that he ever held the groundhog in the movie. Actually,
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Picked it up and he put it in a car and they went off the cliff. You don't remember that part?
No, actually, I don't. I do not remember that. I
You gotta watch
apologize.
this movie. It's a great movie.
Oh, it's a phenomenal movie, and it's funny in their little press release thing. It says one of the greatest movies of all time. You know, it's pretty funny they say that. And while I'm not sure that's correct, it is a great movie. It's just hysterical on every level.
Anyway, I'm actually looking forward to this. Funko Games, their stuff is always, if nothing else, it's interesting, and they respect the IPs a lot. They definitely don't slap them on a game.
I guess it's going to be like, you know, you have to get the timeline in order or something like that. You can kind of see it on in the picture here, but this is going to be cool.
In news that really surprised me, For Sale has an expansion coming out, only 23 years after the game was released.
I think it's necessary, obviously, at this point, to have an expansion. I'm kidding. Oh. It's very odd that they would do an expansion for a game that's like so perfect, right? I mean, For Sale
I
is
don't know why.
really good, solid. It just works the way it is. What they're going to do 23 years later, I do want to see it. I want to see what they're going to be doing.
I do, but man, this has a high. This is an expansion that you better prove it's necessary, or at least doesn't break the flow of this game.
Yeah, have you guys read what it does?
It adds a third phase. Okay.
Right, at the beginning, in which you're bidding for helpers or advisors or whatever. And then for the other two phases, in which you buy the places and then sell them back, these assistants or advisors will give you special abilities. What?
Maybe to look at everybody's money that they're putting down or something. It's going to be weird.
Here's the thing, though. For Sale is so easy to teach people. It's like great. Well, we'll see. But in the meantime, we could also play one of the best names of a game ever, For Sale Autorama. Yeah. This one I don't get at all. This is, I guess, the same thing, except now you're selling cars. But it also includes the expansion from the other game.
Right. They should have said it in a shoe store, called it For Sale, you know, shoehorn or something. I mean, this is so.
So this is a retheme only?
It's a retheme with the expansion included, yeah.
That's insane. Okay.
I just think the name is bad because we already have this Autonoma thing going around for solo games. Autorama, what does that even mean?
Yeah, this is so strange that they would release an expansion to the original and then just retheme the whole thing together as selling cars versus selling houses, real estate. Maybe
they did this first, and then some of the people they told about it were like, but I already own For Sale and I want the expansion. Right. So they made the expansion second.
That could be.
I like that theory.
I saw some of this artwork. I have to say, I think Kwanchai Moria is a good illustrator. I saw a lot of these images, though. The cover looks nice, but I wasn't loving the artwork. The numbers, for one thing, all the cards are landscape, which makes sense. It's a car or a vehicle, so you want to kind of have a landscape. But the numbers in the corners looked a little iffy. I wasn't loving the number illustrations. I don't know. I like this theme probably more than I like buying and selling real estate, but I was not the artwork didn't hook me, you know.
All right. If you don't have enough politics in your life, Gray Fox has picked up Campaign Trail. This was originally made by Cosmic Wombat Games. Now, this is not a strongly, it's Republican versus Democrats, but it's not so based in that it's talking about real life people, although you can now have the Green Party expansion for it. So either way, this is coming out on a Kickstarter this month, actually, from Gray Fox. It's been a while since I played this, but I'm looking forward to it. I like politics as long as they say, like, in the realm of who votes and, the voting stuff. That sort of thing I like a lot.
I've never played Campaign Trail, so other than seeing an expansion for the game, I don't have much to add to it. I don't mind politics in a game as long as it's, abstracted, of course. Like 1960, The Making of the President's an excellent game, for instance.
And I like to point out that I just lied because I apparently have never played this game, and I was confusing with another game. But I'm still interested in it.
Yeah. And Z is staying apolitical.
Yeah, no. What's next? I'm not touching this.
All right. There's some new missions for the crew. Print and play. So there's 50 missions. If you finished all those missions and want more, there's 15 more that you can print and play. This is actually, I'm pretty impressed with this because this is a nice way to do this, right? I mean, it's not, the missions are basically just, here's how to play this. And so the fact that they did this is where I like the print and play idea. Z.
Right. Yeah, no adding components to something and they don't match, but more setups, alternate, missions. Great. Fantastic.
Yeah, but you can put this on your website. You let people download it. You refresh people who into the game. You give them a little extra stuff, and it's a great idea. Great idea.
Very good.
All right, finally, in the last piece of news, Four Gardens, which I just recently reviewed, has been picked up as the newest entry in the Dice Tower Essentials line. This is going to be pretty much the exact same game as Four Gardens is now. All the components and everything are the same. This will be hitting retail around March of 2021. This is a fantastic gateway-style game. As soon as I played it, really like it. It comes with this big 3D pagoda, and you rotate a section of it when you play a card, and then you can get the resources that are facing you after you rotate it. And then you use those to build these beautiful panoramas in front of you.
Nice.
I love the look of this box cover.
The art is amazing, and it's really good.
I'm going to make one comment. You might want to make Four Gardens a little bit larger because I looked at it, I'm like, I can't pronounce the Japanese there. What is this? And then I finally saw Four Gardens.
All right, well, first of all, that's Korean.
Apologies. Is this Korean? Okay, it is. That's in Korean? Okay. Well, it looks like the architecture looks Japanese. The theme looks Japanese, isn't it? This is Korean?
It's Korean, yes.
Also,
Korean. If you notice at the bottom,
okay.
The company who originally published it's called Korea Board Games.
Yeah, I get that. But everything else, to me, uneducated eyes, looks Japanese. But okay.
Anyway, I'm really excited about this. As soon as I played it, I contacted Arcane Wonders and said this would be a good game for the line. And fortunately, we were able to work out a deal there. So looking forward to that.
Me too. I've never played it, but I'm excited.
I see that Mike approves of this choice. It's
Mike liked
in the show notes.
All righty. Well, that's the news. That's a lot of news, and expect a lot of news this month, folks, because it's October, and that's when news comes out in the board gaming world. But let's go to some more contributors, and then come back when I whoop on Mr. Bonacore.
Oh.
No way.
Hi, I'm Ambi, and today I'm going to talk about 30 Rails, which is a solo or multiplayer roll and write route building game. In 30 Rails, you have a 6x6 grid that's your map, and you're going to have stations on each side of the grid, and you're trying to connect these stations and connect them to a mine in order to score points. And you do this by drawing routes between them. In order to build the routes, you'll be drawing 30 rails over the course of 30 turns. So each turn, you roll 2 dice, and one die tells you what type of track you can draw on the grid, and the other die tells you which column or row you could place it in. In order to get a good score, you're trying to connect all of the stations to each other, but you also want to have long routes connecting them because you get more points for a longer route. 30 Rails is pretty fun trying to plan out your routes since you know where your stations are at the beginning of the game and you know where the mountains are that's blocking them. But you also need to plan to be flexible since you won't always get the rolls that you need. Also, there's more than just building the routes to consider because during the setup, after the mountains are placed, you get to choose where to put each station. So you can start planning your routes from there and planning where the best spot for each station is in order to get a really good route. In addition to the basic version of 30 Rails, there's an advanced version, which I haven't played yet, but it adds shares to the game. So instead of drawing track on your turn, you can draw an X on the space of the map, and then you get to add the die value to a box in the share column in the scoring part. At the end of the game in the advanced version, each row scores the lowest of either the share value or your route value. So you want to get scoring in both in order to get a good score. Overall, 30 Rails is a pretty fun route building game that requires a lot of planning and also a lot of flexibility. And you get to draw cool train tracks if you want. Bye!
G'day, I'm Captain Ameritrash, and today we're going to be talking about an Ameritreasure voted by the Dice Tower Facebook page as the most underrated of the Ameritrash titles, and I totally agree because it's actually my favourite game of all time, and that is Lords of Hellas. So let's take a look at my version of the game. Remember, it's not going to come like this, but here's what it could be with a little love, and here's why I think you should play it. Over the course of the game, players will use action selection, area control, push your luck style monster battles if they wish, monument building, which is a really cool and unique mechanic. They'll have powers that they'll draft throughout the game. They'll have variable player powers that they can start with if they have the right expansions. There's 4X style win conditions. And most importantly, the main reason why I love this game and why it's always going to be one of my top 10 games of all time is that every single time I've played this game, and I mean every single time, there's been multiple players one turn away from winning. And I don't just mean like 1 or 2 people. I mean like you might be playing a 4 to 6 player game and like 5 of them are 1 turn away from winning. So every time you play this game, it's really tense. It always comes down to one last move or one last thing or one last decision or one last roll of the dice. So you're standing up every time you play this game, which is such an amazing feeling and one that's super unique to this game, I think, in my experience anyway. So that's why I think you should get it. Remember, if you want to be part of any of the Facebook polls, join the Dice Tower Facebook group and keep your eye out for a bored guy who asks too many questions. Until next time, remember, one man's Ameritrash is another man's Ameritreasure. Big love, board gamers.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Today we talk about Planet Apocalypse.
This is the it's the newest game that's come through from Peterson Games.
Yeah, which is
Kickstarter. So it's
a lot of minis.
Yes, it's a big box game. It's got really big, chunky minis in it to play with. And the game itself...
Mini Giant. Mini's Giant.
Yep, so they're really good. And then the game itself is a cooperative, dark, hell has risen. You have to try to fight the demons and eventually fight a powerful lord.
What I like about it is that it's quite simple, the turn order, and you build your characters. It feels a bit like video games as well, where you build your characters, the turn's not too hard.
Yep, you're constantly killing demons who come through. That will then grant you the currency that you need to level up your character, and you've very much got a tech tree on your board that you're upgrading your character's innate abilities, as well as putting some extra gifts on top, and that equips you for the final fight.
Yeah, it feels a bit like that, and at the end, when you fight the boss, you are taken in one room and then just fight, and then all the little minions come up as well, and that feels like that one of those computer games.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I like how this simplifies the it takes away the big sprawling board with like hexes and rooms everywhere.
That's right, yes.
The board really plays on essentially 6 giant areas, and to be honest, I like the way that simplifies the this style of game.
So that's it. We are Meeple University on YouTube and also on the Dice Tower for How to Play, Pocket Playthrough, and Live Playthrough. See you next time.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, we see if the IP and the mechanisms work well together, and I tell you if the game is any good. Today we're looking at Wacky Races from Simon Games, and this game they're based on a Hanna-Barbera cartoon from the 1960s, and you have all these goofy characters that are racing down the path, and there's one bad guy with his dog, Dick Dastardly and Muttley, who are setting traps for you. Now, the first thing you can do, let's say I'm this person, I can play any terrain card I want, and I can move. Then, if I wanted to move again, I would have to play a matching terrain card from my hand. Remember, I'm going to have 3 cards in my hand. So if it was on green, I could play a green card, and I would get to move ahead. Now, if I didn't have a purple card in my hand, I would have to stop. If I did have a purple card, I can discard it and move to another location. Now, whatever card is on top of the discard pile, in this case purple, Dick is going to move to that spot. Now, he doesn't move on the sides, he moves directly on the spot. And that's important because there can be as many as 2, one on each side of the players. If a third player was going to move here, they would not count that space and continue to move. So when you're behind, that's kind of your catch-up mechanism, is that if these tiles get clouded, you can keep moving and it doesn't count, so you can go right over it. Here, and now he is the lead character, he will drop a trap tile onto that card. Then he would move back to last place. The first player to get to the end will win the game. Now this is a game heavily dripping in the IP and the theme. You really do feel like the Wacky Races was all about these traps and this race that was going on, and it's set in this game. It's very neat. Each of the 4 characters play a little bit differently and have different powers. Very much appreciated. At the same time, the bad guy, who's controlled by the AI, is tracking you down, setting those traps, and he can never win. Fantastic. But the game is for children and families, and it's an A+ for me. This is one of our favorite racing games in our family, and one I highly, highly recommend to you.
Welcome back to 10 for 10. We've got Mr. Tom Valsel versus Stephen Bonacore for the title of Nostalgic Theme that somebody might make a board game about next. We got Groundhog Day. Well, what could they possibly do next? Actually, some of these might definitely are or might become board games. These are 10 family films, if you would, which have those joy feelings rise to the top.
6 of these have board games.
Nobody asked you.
Sorry.
Did you actually go look that up?
No. I meant 6 of them have games that I know about. They probably all have a game from Toys R Us.
That's probably true. All right, here we go, guys. So basically, I've got 10 movies. Like I said, these guys are going to be deciding which ones they keep and which ones they give away. And the reason to keep one is very simple. You want the older ones. It seems like something coming back after many, many years is a surefire way to get people to, have the positive reactions to that nostalgia. So the older, the better in this case. And the films are as follows, just randomly here. We've got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first one. The Princess Bride. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Elf. The Dark Crystal. The Mighty Ducks. Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The Goonies. Space Jam. And Jumanji, the original Jumanji. Wow. There we go. So again, you want older ones. I'm going to shuffle up the pile. Who won last time, fellas?
Bonacore.
I did. I'm 3-1.
Steven, I'm going to give you then first choice. I'm just going to shuffle up the pile here. I'll pull one up and we'll take a look at what it is, and you tell me if you want to keep it.
If it's the bottom, if it's in the oldest ones, keep.
Right. If it's one of the 5 oldest, right?
Give it to Tom.
5 oldest, right. Keep it. If not, you want to give it to Tom. And as soon as one of you has 5 of these, the other player gets the rest of them, and we'll move on. Here we go.
I think Tom is an advantage.
By the way, folks, if you are, I'm going to actually I'm closing comments for now. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Don't look at those. You can play along at home if you want to. just not in the comments. Here we go, Steven. The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, this is so hard.
Would you like to
give me?
give it the top?
I will keep that one.
All right, very well. You are keeping The Mighty Ducks.
I feel like that one's probably
right there in the middle.
5 and 6, I think. We'll
It's
see.
right there in the middle.
Mr. Tom, yours is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Which they're making a sequel to very soon. I'm excited. See, Rick Moranis come back. I will take that one.
Yeah,
I
you
like
will
it.
take that one. Of course. I wanted that.
Mr. Bonacore, your next one is Elf.
I will give that to Tom.
I like the movie, but no thank you. I would like to use my one reject.
No, there's no such rejects.
Function.
We're not even using the special powers, Tom, but hey, that could make a comeback. I've got here my little special abilities, right?
Special ability tokens.
All right,
Hey,
Tom.
you stole those from me.
What's that?
You stole those guys from me.
Yeah, sorry. Those are mine.
Yeah, but I've been missing them so much. You can
Privilege
tell.
working in the studio there. That's what he gets.
Here we go. This is Jumanji. Tom Jumanji. Would you like to keep it or Steve?
No, I get. This is mine, right? Too.
No, you just gave me.
Oh, I just gave. Right. Sorry.
I'm gonna give this one to Mr. Bonacore.
Yeah.
Right. Give it to him. Well, Mr. Bonacore, your next choice here is the Dark Crystal.
Oh, that's a keeper, baby.
Are you sure?
That one?
Definitely a keeper. That's a keeper.
All right,
All right.
fine.
Yeah, baby.
Next up, we go to Tom and the
Goonies.
Goonies.
I'll take Goonies. Thank you. Please and thank you, Goonies.
Taking the Goonies. You each have 3 right now, by the way. Mr. Bonacore, Harry Potter, and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone, depends where you're from.
That's a keeper for me. I'll take it.
You are keeping this one. Very well. Tom, Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I like that movie actually. I'm assuming this is the Disney one, but not the. There's a really, really, really old version of this. I'm assuming it's not that one. Yeah, so I'll give this one to Mr.
Popular
Bonacore.
one.
You're giving it to Bonacore?
I am.
So there we go. That is the end then of it. Mr. Bonacore, you have the Mighty Ducks, Jumanji, the Dark Crystal, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Tom.
Not feeling good about this.
You have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Elf, Goonies, Princess Bride, and Space Jam.
As long as I got Princess Bride, I'm happy since it's a great movie, as we all 3 agree on.
We do not all agree on that. I'm of the dissenting party on that one.
You don't like Princess Bride?
I do. And as you know, he just now wants to try to make fun of me, but I do
Well,
not.
no, you brought this up when we were off air. I am mind-boggled. You are literally the first person I've ever met who doesn't like the movie.
I've met many people who do not like Princess Bride. Now, having said that, there are
hang out
many
in apparently dour circles.
There are many great quotes that you can make from that movie, but I do not think it's forced comedy. Sorry, guys, we can debate this at some other time. Probably not the right time to do that. Yes.
Wow, that's like in my top 10 favorite movies, dude.
Oh. Sorry, you have no taste in comedy. You have very good taste in comedy.
Wow.
I put up with you.
Tom, now for a possible bonus 5 points.
Ooh.
I want you to arrange these from the oldest to the newest. And then we'll go to you, Steven.
All right, the newest is Elf.
Elf is the newest, you're saying. Fine.
And let's see. Space Jam is 95. I'm going to put Space Jam next.
Space Jam is next, okay.
Princess Bride is 89. Princess Bride.
Princess Bride, okay.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was 88. I don't remember. That one might be newer than Princess Bride. I'll say Goonies is the oldest, then Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And then Princess Bride. I'm not satisfied with
So
those 3.
basically, you are saying Goonies, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Princess Bride, Space Jam, Elf.
Yes, I'm very confident on Elf. The other ones I'm not so confident on.
And then Steven, let's take a look at yours. We've got Mighty Ducks, Jumanji, Harry Potter, Narnia, Dark Crystal.
I got to put my 5 in order. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
And then if you get it right, you get a bonus 5 points.
Crystal as the oldest.
Which one do you say?
Dark Crystal is the oldest.
Okay, Dark Crystal is this one. You're saying that's the oldest, okay.
This is really
Narnia,
Harry Potter is number 2 oldest, second oldest. What do I got left? Yeah, I'll make sure I got the same ones again.
Jumanji, Narnia.
I'm gonna go with the Odd Mighty Ducks next, then Narnia, then Jumanji.
Got it.
That's a really hard game.
Jumanji, like Robin Williams, Jumanji. You know that, right?
Oh, is that the one we're talking about? Then I screwed this one up totally. Yeah.
No, let him switch it around.
No. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. It's okay.
It's Jumanji. I don't know why you
95,
think. 95,
right? Is Jumanji 95?
Jumanji is 95, yes.
All right.
I don't know
I can't imagine you know the years that these things were done. That's impressive.
Let's take a look, Stephen, on what you got, shall we?
Dark Crystal.
It's the oldest. Indeed, it is the oldest. It's the oldest completely. Okay?
Nice.
Dark Crystal out in 82, I believe. Okay?
Wow, I didn't realize it was 82. That is old.
Double check it. Yes,
I
82.
it was in his 30s.
So there we go. Next up, you said Harry Potter for some reason.
That's 2000, right?
2001. So that's just 3.
My daughter was a young child. I remember that.
No good.
Next up, you said the Mighty Ducks.
Quack,
Mighty
quack.
Ducks came out in 92.
Okay, so already bad. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, 6
all right.
is good. 6 is good.
6 is good. Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe
95.
is the newest thing, which came out in 2005. So that's 1.
That's the newest one, huh?
Newest one. And then, like we said, Jumanji 95. That's right in the middle. So, Steven, you did not get the bonus. So your score is 10. 6 and 3 is 19. The 1 makes you 20. 5 makes it 25.
Below average, you win, Tom. Stink.
25. Here we go. Tom, Goonies, you said it was the oldest thing. You are correct. That's the 9. The 10's taken, right? So Goonies,
Got it.
85. Next up, we've got Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's the 7.
I mixed it up. All right. What year was that?
The Kids came out in, let's take a look, 89.
Oh, so Prince Bride was not 89. What was it then? 88? No, 87. It was an odd number.
7. Princess Bride was
The only
8.
reason I know that one is I read a best of fantasy book one time set in 87. I guess I got it mixed up, and they mentioned the Princess Bride movie.
Space Jam is 4. Space Jam came out in 96.
Elf is 2, right?
It's very new. Elf came out in 03, I believe. Yeah.
I actually thought Elf was number 1 because I thought it came out. It just seems more recent.
I agree. I agree with that. I would have put it as number 1 myself. But anyway, so you're going up against 25 points. You've got 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 4, that's 20.
Put me out my pain.
28.
28. Put me out my pain.
30.
30. Mr. Vassal, congratulations. First time I think you ever beaten me in a game, ever, maybe.
Probably true.
Naming years on everything, right? So,
I don't know how many. Not in board games, right?
Well, no, in board games too, possibly. Well, I mean, like you might have come ahead of me, but Jason won. Like when we played it, that doesn't count.
True.
Jason won the game.
I don't remember those games. I just assumed Jason wins most of them.
Just recently. Well, recently when we played it, well, whatever.
Well, good job, guys. Well done. Let's take a look at some more contributors, and we'll be back to sign off.
Hi everyone, welcome to Perfect Pairings. I'm Lexi from All Aboard Gamer, and today we're going to make Portuguese paella. I have a stainless steel nonstick pan heating right now. I'm going to pour some olive oil in it. We'll let that heat up, and then we're going to add 6 chicken thighs, and we'll brown on all sides. It should take about 5 minutes. I'm going to season with salt and pepper and a little bit of rosemary. And we're going to add chorizo, and then 1 small onion chopped, and a orange and red bell pepper, about 5-7 minutes. All right, those have cooked down. Now we're going to add 1.5 cups of long grain rice and also 2 Roma tomatoes. And for our spices, we have a teaspoon of sweet paprika and then 1/4 teaspoon of saffron. Before I add the chicken broth, I'm going to put our chicken thighs back in. We're going to wrap this with foil tightly and stick it in for about 10 minutes in the oven. All right, this has been in the oven for 10 minutes. We're going to add a pound of shrimp and then some asparagus and peas are under there. We'll stir it in, cover it, back in for about 25 minutes. And we think it pairs well with azul.
Would you like to introduce our game? What did you think of when you thought of Portuguese paella? Azul, yes.
Portugal.
That's right. All right, so that's going to do it for this Dice Tower edition of Perfect Pairings. We thank you for liking, subscribing, and all of that. If you want to see the full version, head on over to our channel. But in the meantime, enjoy your breakfast.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about why it's not always a bad thing to lose at a game, which for this one, Tiny Towns is a good thing because I've played countless times now and I have won a grand total of 0 times. I've enjoyed playing Tiny Towns. You are building on a 4x4 grid, resources. Someone says a resource, you put it on a square, an empty square, and you trade a pattern of resources in that match building cards for that building. You score points based on the arrangement and the types of buildings that you've got in your town at the end of the game. So you can have progress. Even though I've lost, and in one game I got a grand total of 6 points. If you've not played, 30-40 is probably an average score. Apart from that, I've normally felt like I've done something. I have made a load of patterns that I have converted to buildings. I've sort of put them in nice places in the board, trying to line myself up for lots of points. And sometimes I've been super close and other times I've been thrashed. But I've always enjoyed it because it's the puzzle that's there. You know, you are sort of competing, but you're almost just trying to do the puzzle yourself. Now, there's a lot of variety in the box, and I think that helps. No games feel the same, so I might lose because someone has an amazing cottage strategy in one game, and in the next, it's that their monument, they managed to get that out really early and really sort of exploit its power for great effect. I have done neither of those, but still enjoy it. But let me know in the comment section below, what's a game that you always lose, but really don't mind coming back to and playing over and over again? Anyway, that was, for me, it's Tiny Towns, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful breakfast so far. I'm Nathan from the Cinemeeple, and today I'm going to be showcasing the exceptional Everdell.
everybody. I'm Doug Jr.
And I'm Doug III.
And you're watching a Fellowship of Meeples with Doug and Doug Gaming.
On this episode, we're going to be introducing to you one of our favorite party games, actually, that hopefully you can introduce to your gaming group.
That's right. It's Dixit. Now, Dixit is definitely not a new game. It was released in 2008, designed by Jean-Louis Rubira, and it was published by Labalude Games.
Sometimes party games are looked down upon because of a lack of strategy or something like that, but we tend to think that Dixit actually has a very unique strategy, and we find it very intriguing.
So I'm not going to cover all the rules of this, but basically every player is going to have a hand of 6 cards. These 6 cards contain some whimsical, fun artwork, and the active player has to secretly choose one of those cards and then describe the card using a word, a sentence, or a phrase. The tricky part is they have to describe it good enough that some people can guess which card he's talking about, but vague enough that not everybody can guess which card he's talking about. Otherwise, no points for you.
So here's an example. If you saw these 6 cards and heard the description, Doug and Doug Gaming, which card would you choose? Well, the actual card was this one.
Now, there's a lot more to this game than that, but we feel like the balance of getting that description just right is one of the things that really makes this game intriguing.
And another thing that we love is the artwork on the cards, actually, which unfortunately there's way too many artists to give credit to each of them individually, but we love the art. Well, let us know in the comments which party game you like the most and why.
Well, thanks so much for watching this episode of A Fellowship of Meeples. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, that's because you're old. Oh, we're back. All right.
Hey. I had the same idea, Tom. I'm glad you're the one that did.
Oh my God. Thanks so much, folks, for watching another episode of Board Game Breakfast. We'll be back later on today in a few hours at 2 o'clock Eastern Time with Steph Hodge as we talk about our top 10 city building games. We have a contest going on in this episode. Go back to the very beginning to see how you can enter that contest and win. And if you want to see the game, it's in the description here and see those really cool looking dice. Thank you, everybody, once again. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Bonacore, for joining me. And until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thanks, everybody.
And I'm Stephen Bonacore.
Have fun gaming.